In this video, we'll talk about the psychology of money. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to our channel, Psychology Pub, hit that subscribe button and notification bell to get instant updates on our brand new content. You can also check out the description box for our special offer. The Psychology of Money is the critically acclaimed book by Morgan Housel. As the title suggests, it's about specific behaviors that affect your financial status. The main message is that being good with money isn't solely about what you know. It's more about your attitude towards it, which is hardwired in each and every person. That also means if it's the wrong one, it'll be more difficult to correct that. It also corrects the general notion that financial literacy is mostly about knowing mathematical equations and using spreadsheets. These don't always apply in the real world, where there are many other variables at play. This is a must-read book for everyone, whether you're financially successful or are struggling with money. But many of you probably don't have the luxury of time to read. We'll provide you with the most important lessons. There is no right or wrong way of looking at money. We all know that one person who can be a bit loose about their spending. One minute you'll see them with a brand new car, and the next minute they'll have a new pair of high-end sneakers. They don't put that much value in a dollar, and for them, money can easily be earned back. In a conventional sense, it's easy to think they'll go broke sooner than later. While that may be true, we can't really cast judgment on them and say they are making the wrong financial decisions. But as Housel pointed out in his book, no one's crazy. People were raised in different generations, under different beliefs and dogmas passed on to them by their parents. They were born and came into existence under different economies. Naturally, their view of the world, including money, will greatly vary from how you see things. There's also a good chance that their investment decisions won't be based on the options presented to them, which is the standard and deemed practical way of doing things. Rather, it'll be based on their experiences from their generations. That means a baby boomer will have a different reason for investing compared to a millennial. It is important to have a sense of enough. One of the many impactful lessons that this book pointed out is how people don't have the sense of enough. Some people aren't content with what they have, even if they've amassed a ton of wealth already. It's the same people that fall into the trap of comparing themselves with others and trying to outdo the competition. And if you constantly have that mindset of trying to outdo others, there will never be a ceiling to what you want to achieve in terms of your finances. Housel says, the hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving, but it's one of the most important. If expectations rise with results, there is no logic in striving for more because you'll feel the same after putting in extra effort. It gets dangerous when the taste of having more money, more power, more prestige, increases ambition faster than satisfaction. Have a ceiling on what is enough and know when to stop. It will apply to all facets of your life. There is a stark difference between getting wealthy and staying wealthy. Any champion prizefighter will tell you that being a champion isn't the hard part. Staying champion is. This concept very much applies to wealth and money. If you're driven and passionate enough, and you know the right people who can guide you through the process, getting wealthy is definitely achievable. But for the most part, staying wealthy could be a challenge. It's why we see many star athletes go broke in just a few years after banking a $100 million payday. Mindset plays a big role here. As Housel pointed out in the book, keeping the money you earned requires humility and fear that it can be taken away from you in a snap. It's the exact opposite approach from when you were trying to make money and taking many risks to get to where you want to be. This chapter of the book is essential for people who suddenly take on a false sense of security after earning big. As Housel stated, we should practice a barbelled personality where you are optimistic about the future but equally wary of failing to get there at all. Wealth is what you don't see. When you see a person flaunt their wealth through fancy cars, golden jewelry around their neck, and wads of $100 bills in their pocket, it could mean two things. They are indeed extremely wealthy and choose to be showy about it, or they are trying to project the image that they are. We tend to judge other people, especially those we don't know, based on their appearance. Some leverage that by making themselves appear a certain way. But according to Housel, real wealth isn't flaunted or broadcasted for the world to see. He differentiated being rich, which is a measurement of income, to being wealthy, which is hidden. Wealth, he says, is more about having options for the future and not having too much for the present. And it's mostly because people learn about money through how they see others. They take cues from celebrities on Instagram who they see popping pricey champagne bottles in private jets. They rarely see the real wealthy ones who keep it low-key. The moral of the story: try to be less of a rich influencer and more of a smart, passive wealthy individual, like a Warren Buffett or a Bill Gates. Your long-term plans won't always be set in stone. Here's a fact: the person you were 5 years ago and who you are today are two different individuals. The person you were 2 weeks ago isn't the same as who you are today. Here's another fact: we all know how much we've changed from our past selves, but we underestimate and fail to foresee the changes we'll go through in the future. And that is an important factor to consider. Bottom line, your goals and desires will change over a period of time. That said, it isn't advisable to do financial planning on the extreme end. It won't be wise to be lax and settle for a low income or burn yourself out in pursuit of a higher one. Instead, be flexible and live in the moment. It's okay to set goals, but be adaptable enough for when sudden changes come. Everything in life has a price tag, but not all of them come in labels. The reality is, money doesn't make the world go round. It's consumption that does. Everything comes with a price, whether it's a product you buy at the supermarket, the web developing services you outsource from India and the Philippines, your Netflix subscription, and your monthly jiu-jitsu classes. It's worth knowing that all of these come with a price, and it will be up to you to determine which ones are worth paying for or investing on, and which ones aren't. But it's not always that easy, because a lot of these prices aren't obvious until you experience them firsthand. That's both a good thing and a bad thing, but let's focus on the positive. That outsourcing fee you paid for web development is the obvious price tag. What isn't obvious is the time you saved on that particular effort and the massive improvement on your website, which translates well with your business. Another example would be the thousands of dollars you pay for a trip to Tokyo, Japan. Yes, you can chalk them up to expenses, but the entirely new experience you'll gain from being embedded in a totally different yet enlightening culture would be priceless. There will always be room for error. No one knows what the future holds. The stocks you invested in may be on a high today, but they may easily crash tomorrow or the next day. This is the moment where flexibility and increasing that gap between your perception of the future and what actually happens in the future matters the most. Life isn't always black and white. There are gray areas you need to consider. You can't just be a risk taker or be risk adverse. It's important to have that middle ground, a safety net that's ready to catch you in case you stumble while walking that tightrope. Do your best and shoot your best shot, but do expect to miss from time to time. Saving money is still the best way to build wealth. They say investing is the best way to build wealth. While there is a lot of truth in that, there are many variables beyond your control. If you invest in stocks, the market could crash at any time. If you put money in a company, that business could fail without you knowing it. The best way to build wealth is still through your savings. Someone else may earn more than you do, but if you're better at saving, there's a good chance for your net worth to grow much faster. Here's the clincher that Housel pointed out. There is no need for a specific reason to save, and you can do so just for the sake of doing it. And that's a mindset that everyone should follow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, Psychology Pub.